Change in seasons is also a great time to get organized, but for so many people, that is a daunting challenge that can feel impossible. Dr. Nikki Crawford joins us now. Dr. Crawford specializes in treating hoarding, ADHD. You also have your PhD in education and 30 years of experience helping people. You know your stuff. What are the most common reasons you hear people give for not getting organized or not getting rid of things they really need to get rid of?
Well, by far the number one reason is, I might need this someday. So that's kind of the rally cry of people who collect way too much and keep so many things that they feel overwhelmed and uncomfortable. So I might need this someday is the top thing I hear.
How do you coach them then to just say goodbye?
Well, the question that is more helpful, or the statement to tell yourself when you're considering something, is if I let this go, what's the worst thing that could happen? So instead of I might need this someday, which keeps the stuff around you, consider if I let this go, what's the worst thing that could happen?
You might need a mason jar and have to go out and get one.
You might. And that's the worst thing that could happen. So you might be able to let go of your 200 mason jars.
Right. And that's actually comforting. So that's what you keep asking people. What kinds of things do you also tell them to do as far as once they do part with it? Is there a mental trick like you're going to gift it to someone or you're going to donate it?
Yes, both of those are great ideas. When we feel emotional attachments to particular items like family heirlooms or a dress that we've had for special occasions, it's helpful if you can find someone else who really wants that item. That's where people get stuck, is they feel like they don't know where to gift it or who to give it to or how they could possibly let it go. But when you let go of those things, you really give those items a second chance and a second life to be special to someone else.
That's a really nice way to think about it. You talk about making a quick piece of art to honor the emotions you feel when you let something go.
Right. So if you have a vase from an aunt, a woman that you really loved and appreciated, but it's time for the vase to go, you can make just a quick piece of maybe 10-minute art to express your emotions and the feelings that you have about your aunt. Of course, those emotions aren't in the vase. They're in your heart. But sometimes we get that kind of flipped in our minds.
Can you see the light bulb go off when you're counseling someone?
Yes. Yes, there's a shift in understanding or a shift in perspective on how they see their things.
What do you mean when you talk about listening to the fear chatter in our heads when we're sorting through things? What is the fear chatter?
Well, for anyone who has a lot of stuff, they're familiar with their own personal fear chatter. But it will be statements like, I might need this someday. I can't donate this item because it might be worth some money. And the third one is that I feel afraid or guilty to let this object go.
You say that often the relief, though, can be so much more powerful than the guilt you feel once you let it go.
Yes. Yeah, I would suggest to people to just try it with a few items, pass them on, and see what their experience is, and see if they feel more clarity and lightness. That's what I hear from people.
What would you tell someone who's sitting at home who has a family member who may be hoarding, or even if it's not to that level, they really need help getting organized? Where do you start as a family member helping someone else?
You start it with a conversation, a respectful, compassionate conversation with the person that you're concerned about, and let them know what your feelings are about it and that you are concerned and that there is a way out of it.
That's really peace of mind for people who come to you and for anyone who's trying to implement your strategies. Dr. Crawford, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
It's really good advice to take as we go forward.